Hey guys, for quite some time now, I've been avoiding the really tacky dating coach topics like how to flirt, how to dress to impress, where to go on a date, and how to approach girls in bars. Mostly because they're so overdone and as a result they kinda feel cheap. But I was talking on the phone recently to a guy I coached in Sydney, and I realized the way I think about the answers to these simple questions is usually a bit unique, and many men find my thoughts to be refreshingly powerful. So I wanted to try to unpack one of the biggest questions I get asked by guys. How the hell do you approach a girl in a bar? And I'm going to talk about doing this without pickup artist mentality, because I think those days should be seriously behind us. And also because doing it my way gets a far lower instant rejection rate than most men are used to. So, there are a few truths about nighttime approaching that I think you guys need to appreciate first. Number one, there is no to-do list I can give you that will work every time. Approaching women in a bar isn't like constructing IKEA furniture. You will actually have to understand the environment and the woman herself and be dynamic. Every woman will have a different personality, and you will have to learn to ebb and flow with her. Trust me, you'll almost always get further in dating by connecting with a woman's vibe than you will by trying to impress your vibe on her. Number two, you can't be and shouldn't want to be attractive to every woman you approach. I'm not just talking about how you look here. I'm also talking about who you are. Too many guys want to be interesting to all women. This is a huge dating mistake guys make. Focus on being attractive to a small subset of women rather than trying to impress all of them. If you are already so good looking that most women go weak at the knees, then you aren't watching this video anyway. Don't try to be him if you aren't already. Number three, guys who focus on impressing women struggle a lot and always will until that mindset changes. The real focus all comes down to being really good at two things. Number one, entertaining yourself rather than her. And number two, authentically rocking your own personality. Now, this second bit is likely to ruffle some feathers for guys. They'll say, but Damien, my own personality is dry and boring. And in answer to that, I'll say, if you find yourself dry and boring, forget women for a few months and work on having a life that makes your mouth water, for heck's sake. That is way more important than shagging women. If you're that horny in the meantime, hire a sex worker. And no, that's not a joke. But just focus on your own life first. Learning to attract women isn't meant to be about a body count. It's meant to be about leading the most fulfilling life possible. Authentically rocking your personality is really a huge topic, but essentially it's finding some swagger in the parts of your authentic self that you really dig. Just as many women dig dark and broody and creative as those who dig the Chad, and just as many women will enjoy the dry, witty humor of a brainiac. But for most of us, we need to be okay to really confidently own these elements of ourselves before they can shine. So let's imagine that you and I are standing in a club together and you want to talk to some women. Right from the get-go, I want you to forget a couple of things. Number one, stop trying to look confident. Most guys try to pull this off and they look arrogant. Some others look creepy. But above all, you're going to look and feel inauthentic. Women don't trust inauthenticity. This is why women shit test you. If you haven't heard of a shit test, it's when women ask you confounding questions to test you. Like, where are your friends? Or why did you approach me? They're testing you out because they don't trust you. Most women don't need the most confident men in the room. Most women don't even want to date the most confident man in the room because far more women are insecure than you realize right now. Number two, don't put on your game face. You know what I mean. Don't pretend like you don't, because all men do it. When you go to talk to a cute girl and you try to morph into the pickup guy, you talk differently. You try to sound charming and interesting. You even smile differently. That's your game face. You need to talk to that woman like you would talk to anyone else. Guys don't realize how often game face is what gets them instantly rejected. Women see it, they recoil, and they try to ditch you quickly. I know you've seen some guys do game face and it works perfectly for them. They're a personality type who it works for, but you don't want to mimic them. They've been doing this their entire lives. That's not going to work for you if you're watching this video. I'm a guy who has actually effectively used game face many times, and I'll still tell you that you should avoid it. I don't use it anymore. If you want an example, let me try for a second to put on my game face. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Damien. I saw you over here and I thought I'd come and say hello. How's your night going? Okay, so that's kind of embarrassing, but that's kind of what it looks like. If you can feel that dramatic change to how I'm talking to you now, to how I was talking to you as though I assumed you were a hot girl and I want to put on my game face. Okay, so let's go back to the bar again. And you see a woman you like, now you have to answer another question. And you guys aren't going to like this, and I think it's going to be an unpopular question, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm not here for popularity. Does this look like a woman you'd actually get along with? Now, it blows my mind how infrequently this question gets asked. I'll get a guy with a reserved personality who doesn't have an interest in fashion or exercise and health, and he sees a party girl who clearly loves fashion and all things superficial, and clearly works out a lot, and he thinks, well, I think she's hot, and I've read that I'm supposed to approach women I find hot. And, well, I'm not bothered by the fact that she's hot. I'm bothered by the fact that you're walking into an almost guaranteed fail by hoping to succeed with women you almost certainly have nothing in common with. One of the traps we men fall into, especially in bars and clubs, is we fall for the window dressing. That is, how well the women are made up and how sexily they're dressed. I remember 15 years ago, I was dating a football cheerleader, and so I was regularly hanging out with her friends. Here's a calendar photo of some of them for reference. Now, I hung out with these women in a club when they were all dressed up, and wow, it was like everywhere we went, we had our own VIP section, because everyone wanted to be around us. But hang out with these women after practice for dinner when they're all super casual and meh. I mean, they weren't unattractive women or anything, but they were suddenly just on the pretty side of normal. You wouldn't have done a particular double take looking at our cafe table or anything. So what I'm saying is, don't get confounded by the pretty makeup. If we're talking raw genetic attractiveness, most of the hottest women in a club you're eyeballing aren't necessarily more attractive at all than their less sexualized counterparts. There really are pretty girls of all personality types. Now, don't feel bad either. I personally avoid those party girls too. They just aren't my type of woman at all. I need a lot more depth and realness than they can give me. And I like to think I have a pretty rewarding dating life. But I can still find those women sexy visually. But back to the point, don't just look for hot women to approach. Look for women who look like you might get along with them. This change alone can dramatically reduce your rejection rate. Essentially, you may be getting lots of rejections up to this point because the women can instantly see you aren't the right personality type, not because they think you're specifically ugly. Interestingly, this is largely where the Chad Stacey thing comes from. Chads who care about all things superficial and go to the gym 6 days a week and always wear the trendiest clothing are perfect personality matches for the Staceys. It isn't just about the looks. Okay. So you found a woman who is cute and seems like you might get along with her. Now what? Now you do the crazy part. You walk right over to her. No shuffling, no hesitation, no pretending to notice her at the last minute, no games at all. You just walk straight for her. Now, 9 times out of 10, she'll be with friends. You're gonna walk up to the group, whether it's 2 or 3 or 5 women. And here's the secret sauce. You just walk right up to them and stop. Make eye contact with them and wait for them to shut up and look at you and give you a space to speak. This is such a powerful moment because you aren't trying to fight for their attention. You're chilled out and super confident and waiting for the attention you know they'll give you. And yes, they'll almost always give it to you. Then you freak out thinking, oh crap, they're looking at me. What the heck do I say? Well, you know what? Don't overthink that, at least not in the beginning. Just saying, hey guys, I was just chilling with my friends over there and saw you guys standing here and figured I'd come over and say hello. How's your night going? Sure, something situational and witty would be even better, but it isn't required. And if you're watching a YouTube guide for how to approach, the last thing you need to do is overthink things. Any man who comes out with me to a bar or club, I will instantly demonstrate how effectively I can use that boring line to open any group of women. It's all you really need to say. If you can do all this and have some good quality eye contact and be willing to smile at least a bit, don't sweat the small stuff. Women in bars are actually much friendlier to guys than most men realize, so long as you don't look like you're going to behave like a douche. Seriously, if you're a more quiet guy, approach the more quiet women you see in bars and most of them will give you more of a chance than you realize. By the way, guys, if you dig my coaching vibe, then you should check out my Sincere Seduction online program, which I'll link to below, or even better, some in-field with me if you live in Australia. Then I can really show you how this stuff looks like in the flesh. You may be worried about what to say after first saying hello, but don't overthink that. Seriously, until you've at least approached 20 women you might like in bars first, then you shouldn't be asking. Why? Because 80% of guys end up having more to say once they're there in the heat of the moment anyway. And secondly, because you won't be able to absorb the advice about what to say properly without the required experience of actually having been in the situation yourself. Now, I know this video has focused more on mindsets than actions, but here's the thing. If your mindsets are sound, any actions you take from the right mindset will likely be good enough. As always, guys, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments below. I'm sure I may have ruffled some feathers. That's sometimes a really good thing, and I'd love to hear your opinions. For the rest, I look forward to seeing you guys in my future videos.